Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we will learn how to extract data from web page using JavaScript in Power Automate Desktop. So please watch this video till the end so that you can understand it completely. And if you have not subscribed my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe it. So let's get started. To extract data from web page using JavaScript function, you need to use run JavaScript function on web page action in the Power Automate Desktop, right, where you will have to specify the browser instance, and then you need to write your JavaScript function which will perform the activity on the web page. It could be click, or if you want to extract data, so these functions you can specify here, and then the output will be generated and it will be stored in the result variable. If you want to set some error handling on this, where you can specify the retry mechanism, you can also create a variable if this action fails, right? And if you want to continue to flow run, where you want to go, whether you want to repeat this action or you want to go to the specified label, right? So these are the settings that you can apply on the run JavaScript function on web page action. So today we are going to work with fake name generator website, and we will try to extract the data from that web page. I will go to the fake name generator website. So I have this fake name generator.com, right, where what I will do is I'll try to extract the name from the I will try to extract the name of the employee, right, and then I will take this address and store it into a different column. So what basically I'm going to do is I will create a data table where I will have a column which will store the name, and I have another column which will store the address, right? And from here I will try to get the link of this. Click here to find out. So I will try to grab the URL, and then I will write all these data into the Excel, right? So let's begin with it. I'll go to the Power Automate Desktop because my website is already open, so I will just try launch new Chrome, and here I will use attached to running instance, and here I will make the selection as by title, and in the title I'll specify fake name generator. So I have got generate a random name, so I do not need to specify the full title of the web page. I can just keep a part of it. So this is fake name generator, and I will store the browser instance in the browser variable. Okay, now if I want to run the JavaScript function, I'll just drag it, correct, and then I will choose the browser instance. So because I have only one instance of the browser, so it is already selected here. Now at this place I have to create a function or a piece of code which will be captured, which will be placed inside these curly brackets, and this function, when we will run the pod, this function will be executed and it will perform the required action. So I will go to the web page. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to grab these details, right? So what I will do is I will right click and go to the inspect, Now I will try to highlight this. Okay, so from this, if I take this class which is address, correct, and I'll just copy it and go to the console. I will clear my console. So first of all, what I will do is I'll type document and then get elements by, then I will put dot and then get elements by class name. In the bracket, in the I'll put the double quotes and specify the class name. I'll specify the index which is 0, and from here I'll specify the children because I want to grab the name of the user. So there are two children, as you can see here, it is h3 and d, right? So I want to get the h3, so I'll specify the index as 0. You can see it is highlighted now, and from here I can take the inner text. So the first name will be stored, right? So I'll just copy this piece of code and I will go to the Power Automate desktop, and to return the result in the result variable, I'll type return and then the piece of code which I want to use to extract that data, correct? So let's say I'll name that username and the data will be stored in the username variable. Okay, I'll click on save. So this was the name of the user. Now I'll again drag the run JavaScript function on web page. Browser instance has been selected automatically, and I'll just remove it, and then again I'll go back to the fake name generator website. Now this time I want to extract the address. So what I'll do is, so as you have seen here that when I use the children, correct, so there were two children. First one was h3 element which was holding the name of the user, and the second one is div.adr. The dot is the address, which means that is a class of the div element. Okay, and now if I want to get the address part of it, so which is available on the first index, so I'll just type 1. You can see that it is highlighted, and I will use inner text, so which will give me the address. I'll just copy this piece of code. I'll go back to the Power Automate desktop and paste the code. And because I want to return this value, then I will type return keyword and specify the code, and here I will name this variable as address. Okay, so here we are extracting two information from the web page. Let's just try to check whether this function is working or not. So before we run this bot, we need to make sure that browser console is closed. I will close this, and now I will run the bot. I will right click on launch new Chrome, and then I will say run from here. So here you see that the execution is complete. I will go back to the Power Automate desktop to see the results. So here you can see in the address variable we have this address, and in the username we have William E. Williams, right? So we have got basically the name of the user and also the address. Now I will go back to the web page, and this time what I want to do is I want to extract the URL of this click here to find out. For this I will right click on it and go to inspect, and if you see here we have the content, right? So this is the class where we have a element which is anchor element, which has a text as click here to find out, right? And of this element we want to extract the URL, correct? So what I will do is I'll take this class, I'll go to the console, and here I will type document dot get elements by class name. So here as you can see that we have multiple elements where it has the name of the class as content, right? So we need to specify from which content, from which element you want to extract this information. So if I type 0, so you can see that it is highlighting on top, correct? If I type 1, so this part of web page is selected. If I type 2, so it again goes highlights to other place. So this is the third, this is fourth, and inside this is fifth, and this is the sixth index position where we have to work. So we have to look at a content, we have to look at an element where it has the class as content which is available at the sixth index position. And now from this I want to get the children, right? And let's see what do we have here. So if we type 0, so this part is selected, and if you type 1, this part is selected. And inside this we want to look at, again we want to look at children's. So we have two children, as you can see here, strong and A, right? And which is, if you type 1, so this part is click here to find out is being selected, and this is exactly what we want, right? From here only we want to extract the URL. So here if I type innerText, so I'll get click here to find out, but this is not what we want. We want to get the attribute, so I'll have to type getAttribute, and what is the name of the attribute? That is href, right? So this is going to give me the URL. So I'll just copy this piece of code. I will go back to the Power Automate desktop and I will close it also. I will drag the run JavaScript function on web page action. I'll paste this piece of code here, and here I will use the return keyword to return the result. I will change the variable name, which is going to be the URL, and I will click on save. Now let's just test it out. I will right click on launch new Chrome, and then I will click on run from here. Execution is completed, and we have username. I will just pin it so that it is available on top, and I will look for address. So we'll have address. Again, I'll pin it, and then I will look for URL. So we have URL here, which is extracted. So because we have pinned these variables, and if I'll remove it, so all these three are going to be available on top, which will help me to debug the code. Correct? So using JavaScript function, as you have seen that we are able to extract the data from web page. Correct? And now what I want to do is I want to store this information into a data table, right? Before we do that, let's just extract at least 5 record from the web page, and then we will store it into a data table. So first what I will do is I'll go to the variables section. From here I will go to the data table, and from here I will drag the create new data table. Data table variable has been created. I'll go to the edit, and here I'll name the column as username. Second column is going to be the address, and the third column is going to be the URL. Correct? And then I will click on save. I will again click on save, and once these information have been extracted, I want to store these information into the data table. So I will use insert row into data table action here. I will choose the variable which is data table, and here I have an option to choose where you want to store it. So I'll say end of the data table. You first need to use the percentage sign inside it, square bracket, and then you need to specify your variable. So when you are specifying the variable, at that time you do not need to use the percentage sign again, because you've already used it. So the variable name is username. Second column is address, so I will use the address variable here, and the third one is URL, so I'll use the URL. Now I will click on save. Now let's just run the bot and see whether it is able to store these information into a data table. I will run the bot. I will go back to the Power Automate desktop, and let's look for data table, and I'll just pin this, and I'll open this data table variable, and here you can see that you know the username, address and URL has been stored here. You can see there is a row which is at the 0 index. We will remove this before we write into Excel file. Correct. I will close it. Now we have to build a logic to extract data from web page 5 times. Okay, so I'll use a set variable action, and here I will name this variable as counter, initialize it with 0, and then I will use a label here, and I'll name it as LBL start. Okay, and then I will use set variable again, or maybe I'll use increase variable. I'll specify the variable name as counter, and I'll increase it by 1, and then I will go to the conditionals. I'll drag if condition, and here I will choose counter. If counter is less than 5, I want to go to the LBL start, else I want to stop the process. Okay, for now I'm using stop flow, but we have to do another activity, which is to write into Excel. Okay, so now what I will do is I will run the bot, but because we have to extract 5 different data, right? So before going to the start, I want to click on web, generate button also. For that, what I will do is I will go to the web page again, and here I have to click, right? So again, right click on it, go to the inspect, and from here I will use the ID, which is genbtn. I'll select it, go to the console. First of all, I will type document, then get element by ID, and here I will specify the ID of the element, and then the function, which is click. And now I will press enter. The moment I press the enter, it clicks on the button and a new page gets loaded. I will copy that piece of code, and I will close this, go back to the Power Automate desktop, and then I will again use the run JavaScript function on web page, and here I'll type this piece of code, and then I will click on save. So first what my bot will do is it will extract this information, insert it into a data table, increase it, and check if it is less than 5, then click on the button, go to the start, it will again repeat it. Once this condition fails, it will come to this else block and stop the flow, right? So let's just do it now. I will right click and say run from here. So now this my bot is running. It is extracting the data, clicking on the button to extract the specified number of records. Okay, so now the process has completed. I'll go back to the Power Automate desktop, and here you can see that it has extracted the data that we wanted to extract. Correct. Now let's delete this data. Correct, because that is the zero, the row which is available on the 0 index. Let's delete it. Now I will remove this stop flow, or let's just leave it. I will go to the desktop, sorry, data table category, and delete row from here. So I'll choose the variable which is data table, and I want to remove it from the 0 index. And then I'll go to the Excel. From Excel I will use launch Excel. Correct. I'll change the instance name as Excel instance, and then I'm going to use write to Excel worksheet. Value to write is data table on a specified cell, so it is going to first column and first row. Correct. And then I want to click on save. So let's just run this bot again and see what it does. My bot is running. It is loading the page, extracting the data, storing it into a data table, and eventually it will write it into Excel file. Task is completed, and here you can see that it has written the rows. It did not write the column, so that bit we have to see. Correct. So these data have been extracted. Now let's do one thing. What I will do is I will use write Excel to worksheet, and here I will choose data table. Inside this we have column headers row. I'll choose this first column, first row. Click on save. So this is going to write the columns on the first row, and then what I want to do is I want to write the data from the second row. Correct. And eventually I want to save it. To save it, I will click on I will choose the save document and then click on save. Now let's run the bot and see if it is able to write along with the column name and store it. So here you can see that this time it has extracted the column name also, and data has been stored here, right? So this is how you can use JavaScript function to extract data from web page and store it into a data table and then write it into Excel file, right? If you like this video, please click on the like button and please subscribe my YouTube channel, and if you have any question, please post it in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.